Hey guys, BrickQueen here with a Lego Indiana Jones set to review for you guys. This one is set number 7683, Fight on the Flying Wing. And this one came out in 2009. It has 376 pieces, 4 minifigures, and originally cost about $50. Although, I think it's quite a bit more valuable now. Now, I've had this one for a long time, and I've never gotten around to review it. So here we go. Now, obviously, the plane is the major portion of this. But first, let me show you this oil truck, mostly so that I can move this out of the way to show you the plane better. But anyway, this is the oil truck, the oil tanker that, is in that scene. Actually, I think there's a couple of them in that scene, but there is a point in the movie, in this scene, that basically the plane, is kind of spinning, and the tip of the wing, this little part down here, which I'll be able to show you better in a minute, but the tip of the wing just kind of cuts into the side of the oil tanker as it's kind of spinning around. And so oil obviously starts leaking out, and eventually it ends up with a big explosion and fire and no more plane, oil truck, or anything. But that is how it ends. This it ends with this exploding. But anyway, you can see the inside. I think it's nice. I like when they used to use these pieces to build onto like cars and trucks and things, because you could very easily fit too many figures in there, and it just worked out really nice. And obviously the top part comes off really easy, so you can put the figures in. And there's the back of the oil truck there. This you can spin around. I mean, it's not really, not really intended for that per se, but you can. And there's the front end. There's nothing super special about this truck, I would say. I mean, it's important for the scene mostly. But I'm going to set it off camera for a minute because I need a lot of space for the plane. And the plane is obviously the main part of the set. Now, you can see it's so large that I can't even fit it all the way on the screen without zooming way out. And then it just looks weird. So anyway, these are 3 of the minifigures in this. However, let's talk about this guy, because there's something a little off here with the Lego set anyway. So this guy is just listed as airplane mechanic, but that's not quite right. I mean, maybe he was, but you can see he's holding a tool there, got a wrench, but if you watch the scene, really there was another guy that was an airplane mechanic who was actually he was holding a wrench and seemed to be working on the airplane, and Indiana Jones came up and, basically started fighting him essentially. And so this is kind of mixed up a little bit, because there should have been another guy that had that, but I get what Lego was doing there. But Indiana Jones does fight this guy, and he has a horrible death, which I will explain a little bit more when I get to that part of the plane, because this guy does have death by plane, death by propeller actually. So it's kind of horrible. Like, I would hate to die that way. But anyway, the minifigure itself looks cool. You don't get a lot of bare-chested minifigures like this, so it's kind of nice to have. I mean, I'm pretty certain this is not the only one, but it's not super common. Most minifigures are wearing shirts. So anyway, gonna set him aside. We also have, this is Marion Ravenwood, and she comes with this, it's kind of like, it looks like a little club piece. I'm not actually sure what she was holding in the movie, but I do know what it was for. She used this when she climbed up in the back there. And I will show you that on the plane in a minute. But there's another minifigure in there that she climbed up and she used this to whack him and knock him out so that she could take that seat back there. And there's a gun that she was using to fire off. And yeah, it turned out great for her. But that was also why stuff ended up blowing up and on fire. But hey, they won, so who cares? And there's like a weird spot on her chin, and I don't think that that was always there. I don't know if it was a misprint or I don't know what exactly, but that's odd. Anyway, but she does have a double-sided face, even though she doesn't have back printing. It's a nice minifigure. And then we also have Indiana Jones. So, I mean, I think Indy's cool, although, I mean, you get Indiana Jones in every Indiana Jones set, which, I mean, you should, basically, because it's his name. The whole movie's named after him, the series, rather. Now, we have room to look at this awesome, awesome plane, and check out how easily it spins, which is very, very important for this particular plane, to be able to spin in a circle like that, because that's exactly what we saw it do in the movie. Now, if you look closer, like this is the front end, the cockpit there, and it opens up like this. I mean, I don't think it would on the actual plane, but for Lego purposes, it opens like this, and that actually works really well so that you can easily put a minifigure in there. And this middle part right here, you can take that completely off, just kind of set it aside. And there's a box in here. And we pop that open, it's got some jewels in there. There's 3 little jewels. Plenty of room for more. If you wanted to add more jewels to it, if you have some spare jewels you want to just add. But anyway, this is inside. Trying to get that turned around so you can see the sticker there. So I think that part of it is very, very cool. Let me just put these back in here for a moment. And then I will turn this around to show you the other side of the plane, because I'm trying not to knock my camera over as I turn this around. There we go. Okay, so this is the back side of the plane. And even though this is the back side, this is kind of more the side that you see in the movie. You actually see the back more than the front, or maybe that's just my memory of it at least. So let's move this a little closer. Now, if you take this glass piece off, and there's no hinge for this, you just kind of pop this one off, but you have another German soldier in here, and he is supposed to be manning that gun. He also has a little gun with him, but this gun on the back of the airplane is what he's supposed to be managing. And so that is where Marion Ravenwood comes in, whacks him in the head, and then she sits there. And so then you have her sitting here, and she controls that gun as the plane, you know, at this point. And I think when she gets in, she kind of bumps some of the controls, and that's why the plane just starts slowly spinning like this. And all the while, these propellers are going. Okay, both of them are going. And you have, like, this German, and this German guy was, like, you know, compared to Indy, instead of, like, a regular minifigure, he was like maybe this much taller. I mean, he was a big, tall, buff guy that you would not want to try to fight. And Indy did not want to fight him either. You could definitely tell from how they were acting. But so basically, you've got these 2 guys fighting down here, and the plane is slowly spinning around. And actually, he's got his back to the propeller, right? So the propeller is spinning, and now I can't turn the plane anymore because of my camera. I'll knock it over. But basically, you know, you got the propeller spinning, the plane moving, and he ends up hitting the propeller hits him, and that is the end of that German. And Indiana Jones kind of like hid, basically, not hid, but like covered his face on the ground, you know, so he wouldn't get hit or splattered with too much blood. But anyway, so if you take a look at the bottom, you can see these awesome wheels, which, I mean, I'm sure they've used other times. I don't have just a whole lot of Lego planes. I do have some, but not a lot. So to me, this seems really cool. And maybe to you watching, this is just like, oh, that's a normal plane. But anyway, the wing part, okay, this whole section, okay, this section, this is actually one enormous Lego piece. It kind of reminds me of base plates, because it's even over here. This part is all connected over to this part. That's all one big piece, and then you build onto the middle of it for that. And this is just an old sticker coming up here. I hate it, but can't do anything about it now. But yeah, that is just one big piece. That's why it's this. This set is awesome, but it's also kind of hard to contain. I'm glad that I finally rebuilt it, and now it's going to be displayed somewhere in my Lego room. I haven't picked a spot for it yet. But anyway, I'm actually thinking it might find a landing spot on top of my Quickie Mart. I know that sounds odd, but yeah, it's probably where it's going to end up being. And I didn't really show you this really well, but all the glass pieces in this have, I wish they were printed, but they have nice stickers on them. Now, this one with lots and lots of green, that's printed. And actually, let me check that front one again. Maybe it's printed too. This one is a sticker, this one is printed, and this one is also printed. So that's actually really, really nice. So, I know it took me a minute to kind of go through everything on this plane. Try to scoot it back here so you can actually see the whole thing. There you go. So that's that's the whole plane in one shot. Amazing. And there's the oil truck that blows up and ends it all. And then the other 3 minifigures. There we go. So now that you've seen everything in this Indiana Jones set, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I think this is a really cool set, mostly because it's based off of a really iconic scene. So anyway, I love this set, but feel free to disagree or just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you have any other video requests, whether it be another Indiana Jones set or something totally different, let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.